Welcome back to Music Theory for College Prep. This week, we will go over the answers to Unit 1 and watch the Unit 2 lecture. We only have one check for understanding this week, and to do that, you'll need a Post-it and a pen or a pencil. Let's get started with going over the homework for Unit 1. If my staff is too small to see the labels, this is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. And over here on the other side, space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. I'll give you another minute to go over the rest. Make sure your answers are the same as mine. I'll just have to take your word that you filled in the line with treble clefs. If they aren't perfect, I know professional composers that can't draw perfect treble clefs. With modern technology, there are other ways. It's kind of fun though, isn't it? Here are the answers to the rest of Lesson 2. This is the homework for Lesson 3. Same thing with the bass clef. I'll just have to take your word for it that you completed this line. The most important thing, however, is to make sure that you have the notes correct. These are the answers to lesson 4. I'll give you 1 minute to check them. I'll give you 90 seconds to check your lesson 5. The thing about ear training is that it comes so easily to some people that they view it as common sense. Some people, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. I don't know what brain phenomenon causes this to happen, but if you are in the latter group, don't be discouraged. Just listen to the tracks a few more times while looking at the correct answers. Hold your head up high and move on. The skill will come with time, and it's by no means a deal breaker with your decision to pursue music. Here are the answers to the Unit 1 review. In about a minute, I'll read the story out loud for fun. Okay, gather around for story time. Here goes. Abe took his lunch bag and went downtown in a cab to feed the pigeons in the park. While eating his egg sandwich, a bee flew by and barely missed his face. Abe decided to go home. Wow, that was a close one, Abe. I think going home was the safe thing to do. Well, that was fun. If you are still confused about something from Unit 1, please feel free to drop into my weekly office hours. I'm here to help. Now, let's move on to Unit 2. Unit 2 is about note values, measures, bar lines, double bars, and time signatures. Unfortunately, our friend Abe won't be making an appearance in this unit. This is called a quarter note. It gets one count. Another word for a count is a beat. It doesn't matter if the stem is pointing up like this or down like this. As long as the note head is filled in and there is a simple stem, it's the quarter note. If the stem is pointing up, it is attached to the right hand side of the note head. If the stem is pointing down, it's attached to the left side of the note head. A rookie mistake that is quite cringy for music theory teachers is attaching the stem to the wrong side of the note. Please don't do that. A quick way to avoid this mistake is to check if your notes look like P's or D's, not backwards P's or D's. So don't put your notes like this. Thumbs down. Put them like this, D or P. When does the stem point up and when does it point down? There's actually a very specific answer to this question. If it's on the third line or above, the stem points down. Otherwise, the stem points up. This is to avoid high notes interfering with the staff above it in order to fit more music onto the page. The stem either extends 3 lines or spaces up or down depending on whether the note is on a line or space. If it's a line note, the stem extends 3 spaces up or down. If it's on a space note, the stem extends 3 lines up or down. This is called a half note. It gets 2 beats. The same P or D rule applies to half notes as it does for quarter notes. The only difference in the appearance between half notes and quarter notes is that half notes are left empty while quarter notes are filled in. It takes twice as long to play a half note as it does a quarter note. The stem direction rule also applies to half notes as well as quarter notes. This is a whole note. It gets 4 beats and takes twice as much time to play as the half note. Therefore, it takes 4 times as long to play as a quarter note. You don't have to worry about the direction or placement of the stem because it doesn't have one. Poor whole note. Like a half note, it is not filled in. I like the image of comparing note values to money. I don't know anyone who doesn't like money. Compare a whole note to a whole dollar. Compare a half note to a half dollar. It takes 2 to make a whole dollar. Compare a quarter note to a quarter. It takes 2 quarters to make a half dollar and 4 to make a whole dollar. Check for understanding. Number 1 through 3 under Post-it. Next to each number, draw the note according to the given number of beats and label it quarter note, half note, or whole note. I'll give you 60 seconds. Did you get this? You did? You're so smart. Great job. If not, you should probably re-watch this video. The word measure is one that you will hear over and over again in music. Measures are simply a small division of music. Measures are separated by what are called bar lines. As you can see, in the green staff, the bar line stretch from the top of the line of the treble clef to the bottom of the line in the bass clef. Top, bottom. On a single staff, bar lines stretch from the top of the F line, if it's the treble clef, to the E line in the treble clef. In both a single staff and grand staff music, the song is over when you see a double bar. After the clef, you will see 2 numbers that will remind you of a fraction. This number is not a fraction, but a time signature. The top number tells you how many beats per measure. Spoiler alert, a lot of music has 4 beats per measure. I would safely assume that the majority of music has 4 beats per measure. The bottom number tells you what kind of note gets 1 beat. Just replace the top number momentarily with a 1. When you see the bottom number, think 1/4, which is another way of saying a quarter. A quarter note, in this case, gets 1 beat. Another spoiler alert, the bottom number will always be 4 until we get into some pretty complex music. 4/4 time means that there are 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. 4/4 time is also called common time. and is abbreviated with a C just after the clef. Just worry about 4/4 time for now. Don't let the ta-ta-ta-tas and tas and ta-ah-ah-ahs weird you out. This is for vocalists to practice note values without having actual lyrics to articulate. If you're a wind instrumentalist, simply play half notes by holding the note for 2 beats and then re-articulating to play the next note. If you're a pianist, then you would hold down the note for 2 beats before pressing down another one. If you are indeed a vocalist, this would be ta, 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 ta. Ta, ta. And finally, ta. My college band director had a famous quote that went, "Rests are not breaks. They are silent moments of concentration." You might be thinking, how much rest can you possibly get in one beat? Well, let me tell you. In band and orchestra music, there is something called extended rests. Sometimes instruments have over 50 measures of rests. The only way I could keep count was by quietly counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. All the way up to sometimes more than 50. I was a piano major, but also played the tuba in the marching band in the wind ensemble when he didn't make me play the harpsichord instead. Ugh. Anyways, back to rest. This symbol is the quarter rest. It's the same value as a quarter note, but guess what? You don't play. Simple as that. Full rests, like this, get 4 counts, and half rests get 2 counts, obviously, but they look very similar. I'm going to teach you a trick to remember the difference. If this line is the ground, and this rectangle is a hole in the ground, and my cursor is a little man, and the little man is walking, he would fall in the hole. Whole rest. And if you isolate this part of a half rest, it kind of looks like this top hat. And the first 2 letters of half and the first 2 letters of hat are the same. Kind of stretch, but it's always worked for me. And I think it will work for you too. Lastly, the word tempo means the speed of the music. It's measured by BPM. BPM is not beats per measure. It stands for beats per minute. Your homework is to do Unit 2 from your textbook. Don't forget about ear training. Good luck, work hard, and see you next time.